The meaning of life is a vast and multifaceted topic. While we certainly can't cover everything about it in an overview video, I do hope to give you some insight into the discussion around this area of philosophy. Often, for the purpose of philosophical discussions, the meaning of life is considered an axiology. Axiology is the branch of philosophy that studies value, including the meaning of life, value judgments, and ethical systems. The word axiology comes from the Greek words axios, meaning worth, and logos, meaning study of. There are many different perspectives on the meaning of life. Here are some of the questions asked to help understand and evaluate these different perspectives. First, what is the purpose of life? Many philosophers have tackled this question over the centuries, but the majority have landed upon one of these four ideas in one way or another. Some have supported the idea that using two or more of these ideas together is the best way to find purpose. Happiness is often given as an answer to this question. Philosophers with this opinion think that the purpose of life is to achieve happiness, either in this life or in the afterlife. As you might expect, there's a lot of variation in what people think constitutes happiness. Religious philosophers will tell you that happiness is achieved by following the purpose of a higher power. This happiness may not be achieved on earth but in the afterlife. Other philosophers say happiness is achieved by seeking pleasure and avoiding pain in this life. Another frequent answer is virtue. This is done by making a meaningful effort to live a virtuous life in accordance with a set of moral principles. Of course, this brings up the question of what is virtue? For example, Aristotle talked about virtue as being a balance, lying between extremes. Stoics often cited the virtues of wisdom, courage, temperance, and justice. Christian philosophers mention faith, hope, love, and charity as being important virtues. Self-actualization is another facet of this discussion. Some philosophers believe that the purpose of life is to achieve self-actualization. This means becoming the best version of ourselves. This concept is often found in Eastern philosophy but also appears in Western philosophy. American psychologist Abraham Maslow defined the term as someone who has authenticity, creativity and acceptance of themselves and others and is skilled at problem solving. Contributing to something greater than ourselves, such as society or the world, is another common concept. Some philosophers believe that one's purpose of life is to contribute in some way. It can be something as simple as a kind word or as complex as a work of art or a software algorithm. However, all contributions need to have one thing in common: they make the world a better place. Next in our main discussion, we want to consider the question of, what are the sources of meaning in life? Of course, there is no single answer that everyone agrees on. However, there are a few common themes that emerge from discussions on this topic. Many people find meaning in their relationships with family, friends, and loved ones. These relationships usually provide us with love, support, and a sense of belonging. When they don't provide this, or if they are lacking in someone's life, this can result in the person losing their way, their purpose in life. People also often find meaning in their work or in their creative endeavors. These activities can allow us to express ourselves, to make a difference in the world and to achieve a sense of accomplishment. This is why people will often tell you to pursue your passion instead of just money, or that money can't bring happiness. Some people find meaning in providing service to others. This is typically done through volunteering, charity work, or simply being a good friend or neighbor. Even a small bit of service to others can be a source of meaning in your life. Some people seek meaning in their own personal growth and development. This can involve learning new things, expanding our horizons and becoming the best versions of ourselves. People can often feel quite enthusiastic about their accomplishments in this area. It gives them a strong source of meaning that they want to share. As the joke goes, how do you know someone does CrossFit? They'll tell you. Other people find that spirituality provides them with a source of meaning in life. This can involve a belief in a higher power, a connection to nature, or a sense of purpose beyond oneself. This concept is important in religious life. Our third question is, what are the criteria for a meaningful life? As with our other questions, this is a much debated topic. However, there are some key aspects that emerge from these discussions. A meaningful life has a sense of purpose. It is a life that is not lived aimlessly, but rather in pursuit of something that is important to the individual. Living without a purpose tends to cause great dissatisfaction, while finding a purpose that's meaningful to you can turn this around. A meaningful life is connected to something larger than oneself. It is a life that is lived in relationship to others, to nature, or to something spiritual. Very few people can live well for long in isolated conditions with no connections. Most will suffer in some way if they don't have some type of connection in their lives. A meaningful life makes a contribution to the world. It is a life that leaves a positive mark on others or on the planet. Of course, what is a positive mark can be debatable. But, for this discussion, we can assume this to mean something that an individual thinks of as positive. A meaningful life involves personal growth. It is a life that is characterized by learning, change, and development. Have you ever met someone who was stagnant in their life, in almost every area? You probably found them to be unhappy or even striking out at others in some way. It is important to note that one doesn't have to be growing in every area of their life, and they may not even be achieving their goal. But, that they're putting in the effort somewhere in their life is what counts. Lastly, we have happiness. A meaningful life is not necessarily always a 100% happy life. There are always periods of strife and unhappiness. But, it is a life that is lived with seeking a sense of satisfaction and contentment. Now, let's turn our attention to some of the main theories about the meaning of life. The first is religious theory. This theory holds that life has meaning because it is part of a larger plan or purpose. This plan or purpose may be defined by God. It may be inherent in the nature of the universe. One of the downfalls in this theory is that some will place this meaning in other humans, especially leaders who put themselves in the position of providing the higher purpose. Another is the moral theory. This theory holds that life has meaning because it is an opportunity to live a moral life. This means living in accordance with certain ethical principles, such as justice, compassion, and honesty. This is sometimes coupled with religious theory by providing a defined moral code that fits into the higher purpose. The aesthetic theory holds that life has meaning because it is an opportunity to experience beauty and creativity. This means appreciating the beauty of the natural world, art, and music. It also attaches meaning to creating something beautiful or meaningful oneself. And, finally, the existentialist theory. This theory holds that life has no meaning unless we create it ourselves. Because the universe is indifferent to our existence, we are free to choose our own values and goals. By doing so, we give our lives meaning while acknowledging that we are responsible for our own lives and are ultimately alone in the universe. We hope this overview of the philosophies that address the meaning of life has been helpful to you. If you would like for us to dig deeper into any of these areas in another video, let us know in the comments. Thanks for watching. Please give us a like if you enjoyed this video and feel free to comment to let us know your thoughts on it.